So we are here at ECCC Seattle, and we have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Davey here. One of the things that I noticed was the nostalgia, first of all, and as I look, but most importantly that I notice is that it's things that you enjoy, and I can see that in your work. I know that's something we talked about, just being able to express yourself in an authentic way, but for sure that's something that I felt in a way for your work. So I just wanted to lay that out for you.
Glad that comes through. Yeah.
Again, please introduce yourself and give an intro.
Yeah, so my name's Davey, Jersey raised, currently live in South Carolina, and we're here at Emerald City Comic Con. I'm at booth D9 in Artist Alley. And yeah, it's great to be back. I took a few years off of Emerald City. Last time I did Emerald City was in 2022. So happy to be back here and have it on my calendar. I do about 10 to 15 conventions a year, so I'm glad that this is one of them this year.
And of course, Seattle is happy to have you. This is a 4-day con for all of those who don't know really what's going on here, but he's out here grinding it. I love it. Let's just start with what's one of your earliest memories of being an artist, and then kind of how that's led you to where you are, and where have you been inspired throughout the whole process?
Yeah, I think the earliest memory of me wanting to draw and continue to get better at drawing was action figures. I would literally pose my Spawn McFarlane action figures up and try to draw them as best as I could. Right around that same time, I also had a Super Nintendo and I got Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, so I was obsessed with fighting games. And I remember, I still have the pads today. I would draw a character, and on the backside I would do the button inputs of my fictional fighting game. But then around 14, I actually read the comics I had, didn't just look at the pictures, and it was a game changer. That was when I knew I wanted to tell stories, and that's what I've been focused on ever since.
I don't want to pinpoint and say who are some people that inspired you, but does that resonate with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I wear my influences on my sleeve, so I'm not embarrassed of any of them. Bengus is a huge one for me. If anyone who doesn't know who that is, he's done a bunch of conceptual art for Capcom, most famously Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Darkstalkers. Along with, as far as comics go, James Herron, Danny Warren Johnson, and just anything I see really that catches my eye. There's so many things that are in the moment so heavily inspiring, but it's not as far as permanent. I think that keeps my art and my creativity fresh. I don't allow my influences to be such a weight that I push away other influences that can inspire the moment.
Right. Kind of going off of that, I know yesterday we talked briefly about just how referring to movies or video games that we enjoyed as kids and how that's changed the way we look at it now. Has that influenced your art and how you interpret those things?
Oh, 100%. I think a very direct example is my most recent pieces. I did the Megazord and the Dragonzord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And if I was to draw that as a kid, or even as a younger me, I think I'd be so focused on the idea of making it real. But now rewatching the series as a 38-year-old and now wanting to draw it again, I'm actually drawing them as the men in suits. And I'm taking that twist on it, inspired from the actual tokusatsu footage of dudes in suits.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, do you have a favorite series of pieces? Because I know the Tekken thing that we talked about yesterday, but also I see the influence of video games as well. So what's your favorite?
So the Inktober I did with the Tekken series was a lot of fun. It's hard for people to relate these days, but you only had so many games when you had a console. And Tekken 3 was one of those games I just played the hell out of. And there was so much to unlock in that game, so it just stuck with me. And as a fan of fighting games, Tekken has always been my favorite. But as far as series is concerned, with my art, I'm very proud of my Kaiju series. I took everything I learned about graphic arts in vocational school and really applied it to that. Any really nerdy Toho Godzilla fan will see all of the little Easter eggs in each print. Which aren't necessary for everybody. If you like the Godzilla character, you like them. But there's so many other little things that I put into those prints purposefully and methodically to make those prints very, very special for me. So I'm very proud of that series.
Another question I have is, you know, obviously there's a lot of artists here, but you know, when it comes to your passion and following it as an artist, what continues to drive you and, you know, push you to continue elevating, if you will?
I think I'm always on a path of just bettering myself in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
I do sports, I'm in the gym, I'm a husband, I'm a father. All of those aspects all correlate to my artistic endeavors as well.
Yes.
And I feel like they all just kind of are all in the same soup, if that makes sense. They're all ingredients of just being a better person. So being better at my art is also allowing me to express my maturity and my evolution as a human being.
Right. It sounds like it's like a reflection of you as a whole, rather than just saying, you know, respectfully, it's not you're just an artist. You're more than that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, what we were talking about, just that authenticity, it reflects in your work, which is, I'm a touchy-feely guy, so that's one of the things that I resonate with, because when it comes to being a creative, that's what I'm always curious, like what drives you, what gets you going, but what gets you coming back the next day and the day after that and continuing to elevate, because, you know, we all want to be the best version we can. And I feel like others catch on to that. So that's why, I was just curious what your mindset was of that.
Yeah, it makes me happy that shines through to, for all intents and purposes, like a stranger.
Right, yeah.
Because in my head, I'm like, yes, I'm doing it. And then like every creative person, you get those doubts, you get that imposter syndrome.
Of course. You're human.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to like influence, it's crazy because I love the most extreme, bombastic, like Splatterhouse type movies, but I also love rom-coms. So I feel like that yin and yang has a very strong balance in my art, especially now that I'm pursuing my own indie comics. It's coming across my storytelling as well.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting, even from one issue to the next, to see how much of an evolution and like growth of being better and sharper at my craft comes from.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it just all goes back to every other aspect of my life. I don't believe that you can be the best at one thing and be so poor at another.
Sure.
Because those extremes just wouldn't balance on a scale.
Sure.
So everything is just necessary if you want to achieve anything. To the extent where like I want to go to bed at night knowing like, okay, I did good today.
You're right.
But not just I did good at my job. I did good at being me. I did good at obtaining my boundaries. I did good at being a father, a husband, a friend. All those things for me personally go into my artwork.
Yes.
I think I can't draw something personally if it's not deeply connected to me.
Sure.
I think the thing that brings one of the biggest joys to me when it comes to my art is commissions, because it's not necessarily about what I'm drawing as much as it is what it means to that person.
Yes.
And it's that connection and that story that I get to take away from that piece, whether I like the piece or I hope that the customer doesn't know that I don't like the piece.
Sure.
It's the connection of making them smile when they see it or making them laugh.
Yeah.
And then knowing that that's a story for them as much as it is a story for me.
Yeah, but you play a piece, like you play a part in that, like literally for that. You know what I mean?
And I think that also just goes right back to, you know, personality and like my empathy and my intelligence with emotion and as a person above and beyond the skill of my craft.
Yeah. Wow, that is powerful. I respect that a lot. See, and that's what I'm saying in terms of like interviews like this. It's humbling in a way as well, because obviously we all have our different life experiences, but at the end of the day, you know, we're similar in a way, you know what I mean? And I feel like life experience in general just kind of paves the way for if there's passion that you want to pursue or whatnot. So yeah.
Not to get too philosophical, but I always stress to my stepson that it's where you meet people on the positive, not on the negative.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times we're so distracted by the negative, we miss all the connections we have on the positive.
Yes. I like that a lot, actually. Again, we're getting a little deep here, but I love the zone. We're in it. To dive a little within that realm, at least, my question is, there's a piece of advice that you have for any artists out there who, you know, are doubting themselves or whatnot. It can either be that, or it can even be to your younger self. What's something that you think would be one thing that you think is crucial for that person or even your younger self to hear at this very moment?
you have to fall in love with loss. I had so many loses and like so many fails as a young artist that for me when I was younger was so discouraging because I wasn't doing conventions, and at that time conventions weren't as accessible to artists as they are now, as far as like people being able to apply and do it. Right. Even if it's small and local, there just wasn't the outlet for it. So all I had was things like DeviantArt and forums where like if you weren't the best of the best, it was very, very discouraging. Sure. And I wish that I had the strength then to just say, screw it, and just keep pushing through. And that's the thing I've learned as I've gotten older is like, the fails are okay. You can fail. Sure. It's part of the process. And like I said, falling in love with failing sounds silly, but it's gonna push you further the fastest. What's beautiful about that is that you probably don't know that in hindsight now, you know what I mean? And so my last question, we're out of the deep. How's your experience so far here at Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle? And is there anything unique that you enjoy here versus other cons, or what do you enjoy about Emerald City Comic Con? I think like most conventions, you'll find just like-mindedness. I think one of the best things about conventions this big is it's such a wide net that even if you don't have anything but comics in common, that's all that matters when you're here. Sure. So it's such a neutral ground of positivity, and every conversation ends with a smile for the most part. Sure. There's always that one weirdo, but all my experiences have always been good. It always ends in laughs, cat pictures, or just nice to have a new fan or appreciator of my art. There you go. Perfect. Give a shout out to your business, your socials, where we can find you, and future projects that you're working on that you want others to hear about and obviously support you with. So again, my name's Davey Deforne. My handle is @thescaredycat. And then I am currently in the process of making a horror series. It's everything I love about horror movies and cats. So if you like those two things, check it out. It's a series that's non-linear, so any issue can be read out of order. They all connect in a way, but they're not mandatory to be read in a sequential fashion. I just launched the second issue. It's now available for purchase on my website. The pre-order went through. Books have arrived at my doorstep. Unfortunately, they're not here with me at ECCC, but they will be at C2E2, which is where I'll be at the end of the month in Chicago. If anyone's there, feel free to stop at my table. I'm at M7. And other than that, I'm just working through all my fan art that I want to get to this year. I'm right now in the midst of doing a little bit more Super Sentai Power Rangers stuff. I have a couple more Zords on the list. And then I'll be jumping into some Castlevania and Metroid fan art. So follow me on my socials to catch all those posting. Perfect. Davey, my man, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.